Hello channel viewers, thank you for being with me today. I've got a customer's Cub Cadet this was given to her by a neighbor who admittedly does not take care of this, and I gotta see if I can get it running, do an oil change. So supposedly the starter won't work, doesn't engage, but as you can see, a lot of oil leak. She does not have a lot of money to put into this, nor does she want to, because she wants to save for a better, newer machine. So I'm going to do what I can to try to get this running. And yeah, let's get on it. Right now I'm trying to clean it up a little bit. I wiped this down. I took the hood off. I'm just going to give it a wipe down and, try to eliminate a lot of the mess. So, this is a Kohler engine. Don't want to wipe too much chemical on those in case I wipe them off. So yeah, be back with you shortly. All right, so I got the fuel tank loose and I'm draining all the fuel out. I have no clue how old this fuel is, and like I said, I started wiping this down, but yeah, it's filthy. At least I know that filthy exterior of that filter is at least running clear on the inside. Okay, so I finally got the fuel tank and the top cover off. And just simply looking at this, just pan out of the way. I can tell right away that this is not going to have a good spark. Look at the gap right here. This gap should probably be no more than a business card size. All right, so I found an old business card of mine. Yeah. I can't even get a card in on this side. So that needs to come loose and adjusted. All right, so I loosen it up, put the card in there, and I'll tighten it back down. So now I'll do the same thing right here. You have to see how much dirt's down in here. Look at this. As I had mentioned, this has been neglected so horribly bad. Let me get that cleaned out. I need to pull the spark plug so that I can rotate it easier. So I got the spark plug out after like 5 minutes of cleaning in there. It's horrible. Spark plug looks fairly new. Not bad. And get the other side out. The other spark plug was not in horrible condition either. Sorry to be in your way. Well, I showed you that giant gap in there. Bolts broke off inside. So this is moving around. So now I have to try to figure out how to extract that. Okay, so the lady that owns this machine said that the starter would not engage. Well, it does. So that's a good thing. And until I get an extractor, I really can't go much further just yet. I could clean the carb, because I'm sure that needs to be done. She did give me oil for an oil change, but she couldn't find her filter. So I may pick up a filter and get an extractor. I don't want to turn this thing over and over and over, because I have not actually checked, but I suppose I could right quick. Oh yeah, there's definitely oil in it. So I need to definitely do an oil change. And yeah, I'll go from there. So, yep, I'll get back to you. Okay, channel viewers, it's been a week since I got on this. Anyway, I had to drill and tap where this bolt broke, and got that done. Got the I got this gap measured properly, and we definitely have spark. Starter works perfectly fine. So now I'm just going to pull off the carburetor, clean it, and hopefully this won't be so bad. I can get it done and back to the lady. So this rod here goes down in that hole right there. And this rod goes right there. And the spring goes, focus. Now it goes right there. There you go. Okay, so I used about a whole can of brake clean cleaning this up, and you can tell it's still got quite a bit of dirt caked on it, but it's 100% better than what it was. So now I just need to get the bowl off of here, a little bit of dirt down inside of there. Spray that out in a moment. Floats okay. It's still pliable. Just giving it a look over, some dirt down in there. Yeah. So I'll get the jets out of here and make sure everything's flowing. There's one down inside of there. And there's an orifice. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking it over. So sorry about that. I messed up the recording. I just reassembled the carburetor, put it back on, and I've got the oil draining. It drains down onto that ledge of the deck, and there's a hole there that then just drains out. I'm not going to show much on this. I've got a family medical issue going on, and my wife and I are watching our granddaughter and her parents' dog, and while they're in the hospital. So yeah, I'm going to try to do as much as I can on this. I'll fill it with oil. That's about all I can do, because the gasket here, I have to replace it. I can't find my gasket material to make a new gasket, so I have to either go buy more or buy the actual gasket itself. But I got the spark plugs back in. like I said, I've got the oil draining. I need to get a new filter. And don't mind my messy bench. I've been busy. I replaced wire harness and lights on my brother's trailer. And yeah, I've just been busy. But I have the sharpened blades to go on here. I can do that yet tonight. And then tomorrow, hopefully get a gasket. Get the fuel tank back in. This does have spark. I don't know if I showed that earlier in the video. Yeah, I'm not sure where else I have left off. But anyway, I'm gonna keep on keeping on. Try to get this mostly buttoned up. Now you'll see the struggle of a lifetime trying to get the fuel tank and the cover on simultaneously. I forgot something. Forgot that this cable here is not moving anything down here. So I needed to fix that before I put all of that in. All right, so I got this cable loose. I was a little concerned that this was locked up somehow. But I think the cable's just seized up inside. So hopefully I can find a new one pretty cheaply and quickly. Because as I said, this young lady doesn't have a lot of money to put into it, doesn't want to. I'm just trying to get it running decently for her. I got the muffler deflector off, and then the top shield in the front. So I'll get that cable off there the rest of the way. I'm a little afraid of up inside there. Right there. That's all bent up, and I'm gonna have to try to get that straightened out. But That's my job. So what I did when I pulled this cable off is I marked right here with my marker to indicate where this cable actually went. Yeah, hopefully I can get another one. So I actually got this cable freed up. As you can see. I don't know if that kink is supposed to be right there or not. I did get it freed up. I ended up putting the straight in my vise, and then I just pulled on the spring side, and it pulled it free, and then I cleaned it up, and then I keep spraying brake clean down in it, and yeah, it seems to be working. I'm gonna take it with me, and I'm gonna see about whether or not that's supposed to be bent. I could probably just straighten it out too. But anyway. My dog laying over there. Benji. Say hi. He goes to the groomers in a couple days. Okay, so I got a gasket maker, or a gasket material, and I traced the old one into the material, and there, and then just cut it out, and there it is. Now, as I had mentioned earlier, that bracket right there was actually bent. It was curved up. And I don't know if that's because this cable has been replaced, but it was badly bent. So I straightened that bracket out. I just put it in a vise and manipulated it. Now I am going to set, the choke. So on this one, there's no indication what this throttle lever is. There's supposed to be a plate right here. Anyway, choke is all the way up. Okay. So choke is up there. So what I'm doing here is I've got this screw tightened down just enough that it's going to hold that wire in place, and then I can pull this cable So anyway, I'm going to pull the cable, and you can see where the choke right here starts to close. And when that comes this far, it's closed. That's all the farther I want this, which is going to be right about here where the shiny spot is. That's basically where that was before I took it off and messed with it. But the cable was actually frozen up, and I used brake clean and sprayed half a can through it, trying to get the cable lubed up, freed up, and hopefully it lasts, because I could not find another cable like this. So let me get this tightened down, and then I'll come back and show you. All right, so there I'm at what I guess turtle speed. And then as I turn, right there I'm full throttle. And now when I go more, there, that's choke all the way up. Full throttle and idle. All right, so I do need to, like I said, I don't know if this is a replacement, but I'm going to have to squeeze these ears together a bit. I just kind of checked this for operation. So I'll pull this back loose, squeeze those together around that, and I'll actually put oil down the tube, down the cable. Focus. There. That is not ideal, but I just pinch these ears together a little bit, and the throttle action still works. I don't know if I can do this one-handed, but there. Well, it just pulled free, so I'm going to have to figure something else out. All right, so I got that pinched together. Obviously, again, it's not ideal, but it is what I had to do. So, yeah, I'm going to put the little handle back on. There's a screw and nut, and get the gas tank in, keep moving forward. Okay, so I've got the gas tank in, and I'm about to put the screw in at the top that's way up inside of there. So a little trick that I learned a long time ago when I was a mechanic. Piece of tape. When your screw won't stay in, I'll show you. Take a piece of tape, put it over the bolt so the sticky side, well, if my hands weren't so dirty, the tape would probably stick to my socket. And then the screw, well, got one side to stick. It won't fall out of your socket. And you can start it, drive it in. So the screw is down in there. Right there. As you can see, it's difficult to get to. The tape is still on there, but that's all right. It's not going to affect anything. I forgot I was recording, so I just put the shield on, the external muffler shield here, and then this tiny little deflector. And I got to get those tiny little screws. This round hole, each hole has one of those tiny little screws in it. That's what holds this on. So I got to do the whole tape trick because I'm having trouble really getting it in there. Well, you know how I said I get so busy that I forget that I'm recording? Yeah, that just happened. Anyway, so I've got the tank mounted, the plastics all put back on, fuel pump, fuel lines put on. I blew out the air filter the best I could, which reminds me, shut this off so it doesn't turn on. Let me see here. What else did I do? Got everything bolted back together. There was a bunch of screws. I can't remember if I showed that before. There's a bunch of screws in here, and they went to, there's a screw that goes back there, one there, the fuel pump, these three, and then there's one over here and one back there. So that's on, and I put, yeah, right there. I just put a little bit of gas in there. And yeah, I'm gonna start this. She's a smoker. I don't know why it smokes. Got my garage filled. that's a good thing. Okay, so this machine ran very, very well. I did go through and try to tighten down the valve covers. Got just a little bit of twist out of this one here. But on this side, these two down here were super loose. That one was really loose, and I got a little bit of twist out of that one back there. It's a bad rattle because, again, I did not take a lot of this apart, but what I found out trying to put it back together is the hole that's in this back here, it would go in here. You can see the hole there. So a screw like this goes through here, through the bracket, into the muffler shield. The hole in the shield is stripped out. So even if I had another bolt, it wouldn't matter. I'd have to get a much larger one. And as I had mentioned, this young lady doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't want to put a lot of money into this machine. I'm just trying to get it to the point where she can use it. I blew out the air filter the best I could. I think I mentioned that, I don't remember. The battery's junk. Inner tubes. I bought 2 inner tubes for it today for the front tires because they're both flat. And yeah, I think, like I said, there's so much more I could do to this machine, and it would be a perfect running operational machine. But the amount of hours I have invested in this already is probably way more than she wants to spend. That doesn't mean I'm not going to fix it. I just won't charge her for everything. It would be worth more with all the time, all the labor, and the parts that I could throw at this. And I can't. I'm just going to make sure that everything is right. I'm going to replace the blades as she wanted. Oil change. I still needed to get an oil filter. It needs an air filter. But I'm going to check the differential fluid in the rear and make sure that I'll make sure the entire machine is working properly. And yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna take these cotter pins out of the front tires or axles. That way I can get the wheels off and I can dismount tires, put tubes in them. That's an actual grease cert. I'll clean that up. There's just a little channel right there that the grease will feed down, and it'll keep the spindle lubed up. I'll get this cleaned up and make sure that gets greased before I put it back together. I'll get get the pivot points and stuff greased up. I've got the valve core out of the valve stem. So then now I just have to figure out how to break that bead. Get some grease in here. Hopefully. Oh, maybe not. There we go. That was a lot of grease. That was a lot of grease, but that's all right because I don't think it's been done. I have a piece of sandpaper there that I'll rub around the axle to get that cleaned up and get some grease on that after I put the wheels on. Well, before, during, and after, I think. So I just basically scuffed up the axle just to clean off the heavy residue of dirt and yeah. Then these bushings can slide on a lot easier. All right, well, I worked and worked and worked at getting these tires broke down, and I don't have a bead breaker, so I'm gonna have to take them and have them done. I use some seafoam deep creep sprayed around the beads, and yeah, I can't get them to budge. So I got the axles greased, the steering pin, yeah, I think I'm done for the night. My back's hurting pretty good. So, yeah. All right, so I got the inner tubes put in. I couldn't break the beads, so I had to go pay somebody else to do it. So, I'm gonna get this put back on. That cotter pin is probably perfectly fine to reuse, but I'm just going to put in a new one. All right, so I needed to reposition. So I don't like the way that this has so much movement in it. So if I can do something about it, if I can push, if there's some way that I can get a if I could keep this washer from moving, it would take out all of that slop. But that it can spin. So if I can figure out how to keep that, somehow I'll figure something out. So one of the big problems is as I had mentioned, this machine was not taken care of. As you can see right here, there's a big groove in this spacer because this was never greased. It's even worn here where the cotter pin was laying, and just constant worn. Okay. So I ended up getting 2 different thickness washers. This one's just about twice as thick as this one, but they have a 3/4 inch hole. So I'm gonna put a couple in here and then see how much slop I can get out of this in order to put a cotter pin in, and the wheel doesn't move all over. So here's the actual sizes that I got. 3/4 inner diameter, 1.25 inch outer, 18 gauge versus 14 gauge. So the 14 gauge is thicker than the 18. So, okay, to get all of the slop out of the wheel, and there was 0 slop in there now, I ended up using 2 3/4 by 1 1/4 by 14. So that's perfect. I'll just bend that over. The washers weren't as wide as I wanted them to be. I wanted them to be as wide as this, but it's fine. It's gonna work just fine. Won't have any issue there. Now, as you know, I already greased this, but I'm gonna go ahead and, now that the wheel is on, I'm gonna grease it more. Okay, so I just did the same thing on this other side. However, This one's a bit more worn. Quite a bit worn. But the 18 gauge washer's just too thick to take up any more space. I can't get the cotter pin in with a third washer, so it's just gonna have to do. All right, so as I had mentioned earlier, this shield just rattles around because the bolt in there is bad, or the hole in there is bad. So I got this wire. I'm gonna tie it back. Okay, so I don't know why I didn't think about it earlier. I just put a smaller diameter bolt through the hole with a nut and washer, and no more rattle. Yeah, instead of trying to use that wire. So, on to the next project. I got the wheels on, tightened down as much as I could possibly do it. Now the next big thing is change out the blades, put the hood on, and I believe I'm done. Okay. So basically the last thing I had to do was put new blades on. Yeah. So whoever put the blades on last time, yeah. Okay, so I've got those two blades on, but the last time he put this on, he didn't get the blade on here, and it just rode on the star, on the cog, and it not only did it flatten them out, but I can't even get the blade on it. So I'd have to say this guy really didn't do this lady any favor by just giving her this, because I think the only thing to do is replace that spindle, which that really stinks. I'm gonna have to think on it. So I'll get back. Okay, so I got this ground down so that the blade will actually go on. Now I can actually seat it properly, and yep, awesome. Okay, so I took the time to clean the bottom of the deck. It's not perfect, but you know what? I didn't even have to go that far. So yep, I very little left to do. Some cleaning down in the deck here. I'm going to get the hose out and clean that out, but I got to get the machine out of the garage, put the hood on it. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with it. So I'll get back to it here in a moment. All right, it's about time to get this machine down, see if it runs, so I can get it going. It's been real, it's been fun, but it has not been real fun. Well, here's the maiden voyage for me. Sounds like the brake clutch area has got a little issue. As far as I can tell, it's mowing. I have never used a PTO drive, but this is the reverse right here. Seems to be working, but it shuts the PTO off. If you hit the reverse, so anyway, it works. I'm done with it. Okay, well, it works. It runs. Blades cut. There's some noise in the clutch area or whatever's going on. I don't know. I can't keep putting time and money into it. So I'm calling it done. I'm going to load it up and get it out of here. Thank you so much for being with me through this. It's been fun, interesting, learning experience, and yeah. Please like, share, subscribe, leave comment. I can't do much more. It's I got to draw when it's time, because I've put a lot into it and it's operational. If she wants to do more, I can look at it again another time, but right now it's what it is. And for now, appreciate you all. Please subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. Like, share it, and yeah, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Break time.